Today, the anime world changed, and it will never be the same again. On March 1st, Akira Toriyama sadly passed away due to a subdural hematoma. His death was later confirmed today on March 8th, 2024, by his manga and design production company, Bird Studios. He was 68 years old at the time of his passing. Man, this is not a video that I ever thought I was going to have to make. I don't know what to say that hasn't already been said. I just kind of felt the need to want to sit down and have this discussion, I guess, just kind of with the void and get my thoughts out there, because this isn't the kind of content that Blue and I produce here. This is just kind of me wanting to talk and kind of get my thoughts and feelings out on the matter, because whenever I woke up to this news this morning, I still don't know how to feel. It still doesn't feel real to me. I guess the main thing that kind of comes to mind to me at this point, and I've seen this comparison derived earlier, and it's that I finally know how people felt whenever other creators like Stan Lee passed away. Like, as a huge Marvel fan, I felt it to some degree, but I was never the biggest comic book fan outside of Deadpool and the occasional Spider-Man comic. So I feel, or rather I felt how, people were feeling at that time, but this really hits home for me. Toriyama was a huge part of my childhood. He was the reason I've made so many friends. His creations are just such a huge part of who I am now. His characters were such a huge inspiration to not just myself, but others. There are millions and millions of people who are going to be mourning this individual and his creations. I don't know, it's just crazy to sit back and think about all of this and the amount of lives that this individual touched with his works. He inspired so many people, inspired people to become mangaka such as himself, just artists in general, inspired people to get in the gym and work out and get stronger, and inspired people to get into martial arts and train to become like their favorite characters, and even just forged friendships And it, I don't, it's just, it's wild to me, just the sheer amount of outpouring and respect that have come out over this. It's just, he was truly beloved by so many. And I don't know. I feel like I'm rambling a lot with this, but again, I just wanted to sit down and talk about it because, again, the works touched me in such a way growing up. I've made a lot of friends and bonded over Dragon Ball. I remember growing up and going to Blockbuster and Hollywood Video on the weekends whenever I would go stay with my father, and I would always be torn between, you know, whatever the newest Dragon Ball or Sailor Moon film was available. Like, it was just so integral to me growing up. It's also a huge part of my journey in, you know, my art career. Like, I remember staying up late with the old Budokai games on the character selection screen, just drawing all of the different characters on the TV screen as I would just switch between all of them because I wanted to be able to, you know, produce that kind of artwork on that level and be able to create like Toriyama created. Dragon Ball shaped a lot of my streaming career as well. I made a lot of friends and just off of streaming Dragon Ball games like the Xenoverse series. There was, I don't know, there's so much that can be said and so much that already has been said. And yet, I feel like really the only thing that I can just kind of sit here and say at this point is just thank you, Akira Toriyama. Thank you for all of the laughs and the tears shed throughout my life over this series. Thank you for the just sheer excitement and joy I got from being able to watch the latest films in theaters with just a whole bunch of other, you know, fans of the series and seeing that excitement surrounded by so many people. And I remember during the Tournament of Power, I came into town because I was living in Georgia at the time, but I came back to Tennessee to hang out with my friends and have a Dragon Ball watch party for the Tournament of Power episodes where Goku first got Ultra Instincts with episode 109 and 110. It was just such a fun memory, and I'm incredibly grateful for that and all of the friendships that I've made over the show and people that I've got to just enjoy this series with. Like, I am and will always be eternally grateful for what that man has done for an entire industry as a whole, for people all over the world, and for me personally. But I don't know. Anyway, I've rambled enough. I don't know, again, what I was hoping of getting out of this video. I just kind of wanted to sit down and, kind of speak my thoughts on it. Again, I know this isn't the type of content that Blue and I usually put out here on the channel, so apologies for that. We'll be back to regularly scheduled programming tomorrow. Again, I wanted to kind of sit down and, present my thoughts on the matter and just kind of, even if it's not obvious enough whenever we discuss about it on the podcast, I just really wanted to make it known how integral and important Toriyama's works were to me. And again, there's nothing more that I can say that hasn't already been said. So just thank you. And thank you to whoever's watching this for, just listening to me vent my thoughts as a huge Dragon Ball nerd who's just hurt over this. Like, it was, again, it still hasn't even really set in. Like, I walked into my office and I'm not sure how well you can see it in the background, but my massive chunk of the top shelf of my bookshelf is Dragon Ball figures. So again, I know I'm sorry for rambling. I didn't intend for this video to even go over 10 minutes because I didn't think I'd sit here and ramble for this long. Again, just thank y'all for putting up with this and listening to, just a Dragon Ball fan kind of speak his thoughts out into the ether. Thank y'all. And we will see y'all next time. Bye-bye.